Hello and welcome to Valemount Votes, VCTV series of one-on-one interviews with the candidates for mayor and council for the upcoming municipal elections. I want to take a moment to go through the show format so you know what's coming here. First of all, I'm going to read a biography of the candidate that's been written by the candidate. After that, candidates will have an opportunity to make a 3-minute opening statement if they so choose. From there, we'll be going into questions that have been prepared by you, the viewers. We received lots of them, and so we're going to be asking those to the candidates. They've all had a chance to see those questions and prepare some answers for them, and they'll have a specific amount of time to answer those questions as well. After that, we'll go into 3 candidate-specific questions, and these are questions that have been written specifically for each candidate. They have not had a chance to see these ones, and that's to allow you to gauge how they respond to questions that they haven't had a chance to prepare answers for. Again, there'll be a specified amount of time that they'll have to respond to those. And then finally, the candidates will be given the opportunity to make a closing statement of up to 3 minutes as well. A few points. This is being shot in a live-to-tape scenario. We're not broadcasting live, which means it is being taped, but it's being taped without editing. So we're going right through. Hopefully we can do it without making too many mistakes. I will be monitoring time. I have a stopwatch here on set, and so candidates will be given the amount of time they have to answer each question, and they must answer in that time. They're not allowed to use any of the unused time in other answers or questions. Each candidate's interview is going to air on VCTV once these are done, and they will air an equal number of times, and they will air in alphabetical order. And once each of the interviews has run one time on VCTV, we're going to upload them to our YouTube channel, and so you can have a chance to see them as often as you like. Well, I'm going to start by introducing Hollie Blanchette. Hollie Blanchette has been working at our public library for the past 9 years. She has served on the Village of Valemount Council for the past 3 years. She volunteers in our community and loves to work in her stained glass workshop. Hollie is very proud of her daughter Melanie, who lives and works here in Valemount, serving our community on our ambulance staff. Family, friends, home, and community are most important to her. She would like to continue serving our community with the work she has started on council for another term. There is much to do, and she is a doer. Hollie, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We're going to move right into the prepared questions. And the first one is on economic development. And the question is, what is your strategy for strengthening Valemount's economy? How would you attract more businesses and development to Valemount?
Okay. What we need to do, I believe, is we need to make Valemount attractive. It starts right from every household. Our houses and our yards, are they neat and clean, tidy? Are they attractive looking? Are our village streets free of garbage and litter? Are our storefronts attractive and appealing? Are our citizens pleasant and courteous when people come to town? How do we greet them? How do we respond to them? These are all things that are important. When a potential investor comes here looking around, they notice all of these things. The investors that we met with in Whistler noticed that people were very pleasant when they were talking to them here, and they didn't know who they were. So all those things are the easiest to work on, and they're very, very important. So we need to keep putting our name out there with tourism, small business. People talk to people. We need to grasp every opportunity we can. If I had the exact answer, I would be emperor, but I don't. So I think we need to start at the basics and work up.
Okay, great. We have a fair bit of time left. Is there anything else you wanted to add in there in terms of economic development?
I don't really know enough.
Okay, great. Well, we'll move on then. So the next question is going to be on village infrastructure, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to answer this particular question. And the question is, what is your opinion on infrastructure maintenance in the village? In particular, the repair and maintenance or replacement of known concerns prior to, rather than waiting until things break or become a problem and result in more expensive emergency repairs and damage. Do you plan to make this an important part of the budget?
Well, this council's already done that. When we first started, we started putting money aside for this specific issue. We have a very small tax base, and as we know, repairs and maintenance are extremely expensive. We can't always be guaranteed on grants, so we've got to have money put aside. That being said, we don't have a lot of money. We don't have a huge pot somewhere So we have to, it's something that we definitely have to work on, and we have to figure out how to put more away. Staff is really great at finding little bits and putting it into that pot. But any help we need, we have.
Okay.
Goofed my words, but anyways.
Right, okay.
It is an issue because, I mean, we just went through all of our sewer problems, right? And everything's getting older. So what do we do? Where do we find the money? You know?
So for you then, it's going to be an important part of the
It's always been, because we all live here, right? We're all driving down the roads, we're all flushing our toilets, we're all putting on our water taps. So it's an issue that you see every day because you're using your house every day. But like I said, we've got to find a way to put more money away so that we can fix things before they break and update them.
Okay, fair enough. The next question deals with parking, and this is a little bit longer question because it's two parts, so we're going to give you a little bit longer to answer this question. And it's kind of a winter and summer component in terms of parking. As you know, there's issues for both. I'll ask the winter part first. When the village plows the snow, it makes a ridge, and trucks and trailers have to park on the street, and it makes for a tunnel going down Fifth Avenue. Last year, someone almost hit 4 sledders because they came out from between the trucks and the trailers. Very hard to see. How is the Village Council going to fix the parking problem on Fifth Avenue during the winter?
So as we know, winter parking is always going to be an issue because we're always getting snow. We all need to recognize it, and we need to slow down. We need to take our time. We need to pay attention. We can't be in a hurry. Okay, Council and Public Works have a parking lot on 5th. This is our second year that we've introduced this parking for the snowmobilers and for anybody in big trucks. Its maintenance is easy and accessible. We're hoping more people use it. We've got signage up there. Apart from that, I don't know what else to suggest. You know, we can only put the snow in so many places. When Public Works heads out in the morning, if there's cars parked on the road, what are we going to do? How do we get that snow out of the way? You know, it's something that we have to work on together. If you know you're going to go into town, try and go into town a little bit later on in the day to give Public Works that chance to get rid of the snow.
Right.
You know?
Okay. And the other half of this question is the summertime, obviously. And the question that's been posed is, it is a well-known fact that we have a major parking crisis in the downtown core when it comes to accommodating tourists and travelers with oversized vehicles such as RVs and trucks and trailers. What measures would you implement to alleviate this problem?
Well, again, we've got that parking lot. Now, it is far from the downtown core. One of the possibilities we looked at, I believe, last year was purchasing property closer to town to see if we could have people park there. And I believe the first year we served, parking was available just after the gathering tree. I think that property is no longer for sale, but that is an option, you know?
Right.
It's hard because we've only got the one lane on each side. You know, what should we do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where should we park?
Right. So the next question deals with water meters, and in particular, 2 versions of this, water meters in general and also smart water meters. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes because there's 2 parts to this question to answer it. The first one is water meters in general. Do you feel water meters are necessary for Valemount? Why or why not?
I do. We need to conserve water. It isn't an endless resource. We're all living in, some of us are living in houses that are a little bit older. Have we got leakage? I mean, I don't know if my house leaks. So, you know, we've got people that are running their sprinklers all day and all night. We've got, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I know that smart water meters are causing a lot of controversy. I don't know a lot about them. I have read 3 different studies, one from the UK, one from Australia, and I think one from the States. And there's good and bad. But I think when something causes this much of a fuss, we need to look at it a little bit further. You know, what exactly is the smart meter? What's the alternative to a smart meter? And I don't know what it is. If somebody else does, then tell us, let us know. So that when this, because we are going to be metered at some point, right? So we better find out which way we're going to go.
All right. Well, that was the second part of it is are you aware of the mounting concerns? And obviously you've read some of the studies that deal with that. And the alternatives to smart meters would be, do you know?
I honestly don't know, you know, but if somebody else does, then let us know.
Okay.
You know, I think, like I said before, when something draws this much negativity, negative publicity, then that's something that we've really got to address seriously. I don't want something that's going to cause me to be sick coming into my house.
Right.
Who would?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. All right, next question deals with, and it's again, kind of a combination question, youth center / community center / activities for children and youth. And there's kind of two parts to this one as well, so we'll give you a little bit longer to answer this one if you need it. First part would be on the youth center / community center. Where do you stand on creating a community center or a youth center for Valemount?
I think it's a great idea. Who's going to do it? You know, I know that we have had 2 youth groups here in town. I believe we're down to 1 now, and that's run by volunteers who've been doing it for years. I don't know if they have a specific center to go to. The second group that I know of and dealt with did have a center in mind, and think plans were put in the works, but I don't think that went all the way. What happens is that people come up with these fabulous ideas, which this is one of, and then they're given to council to do. Why can't that group of people get together, figure out what they want to do, how they're going to do it, how they're going to pay for it, where it's going to be, take it as far as they can, then when they need help from council, come to council and say, here, this is a great idea that's got this support, we need help to get it to go farther. You know.
Okay, and the other half of that, and I'm sure you've heard of this this concept many times, is where do you stand on creating a spray park or a wading pool or some other type of water-based recreational facility for children in the summertime, because there isn't anything now.
Yeah, so a spray park would be great. I would be there. It's a super idea, but again, citizens need to come together and do the legwork. Where would it go? What is it made of? Is it safe? How is it going to be paid for? How will it be maintained? How much is the insurance going to cost? If you need help, come to council. I've used this as an example for a long time. Christine Torgerson and I worked diligently trying to get a prison here years ago. And it took me a year of phone calls and emails and meetings trying to get all of the pieces together. Then when we couldn't do any more, we took it to council and said, okay, we need help. You know, who are your contacts? Who do you know? What do we do next? And council stepped forward and they helped us. Now, it fell through, it didn't work, but we tried, we asked, and we went. So I just wish that more people would get together. There's so many great ideas here. Marion Farquharson is a prime example. She has tons of wonderful ideas, and one of them was the Bigfoot Trail. She put it together, she brought it to council, it's done.
All right, so a partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Our 6th question deals with the subject of communication, and you have up to 3 minutes to answer. It's a single-part question for this. Communication is key to learning what is of importance to the constituents, not only during the campaign, but after the dust is settled. If re-elected, how will you communicate with the constituents to learn of their concerns, and how will you relay this information back to council for action?
So this term communication, as far as I can see, has never been an issue. We have email and phones, which people have used. I have emails from people all the time. I get phone calls on my home phone, which is fine. I'm out in the grocery store, I'm on the street shopping, people stop and they chat. In the bank, at the mailbox. They come to the library where I work and discuss issues. When things pop up, we take it to staff, see if it's something that can be dealt with at the staff level, or if it's something that we need to take to council and include in our minutes or put on an action item. So I really don't think communication is a problem. I know that we've got a lot of citizens that are not afraid to say, hey, wait a minute here, let's look at this. If somebody doesn't want to approach any of us, send us an email. You know, I don't think communication's a problem.
All right.
We've got a pretty good two-way street there, as we know.
Okay. Great.
And we have VCTV.
That's right.
There we
always
go.
have VCTV. All right, excellent. And the last question deals with the subject of diversity in the village. And you're going to have 3 minutes for this one as well. And the question is, how do you feel about working hard to increase diversity in our village? For example, attracting persons of differing sexual orientation, race or religion, persons with disabilities, refugees, etc.
I don't think it is a problem. Look around. We've got tons of different people here. We have tons of different cultures, different beliefs, different religions. The door is open in Valemount and people are coming. Sorry, I didn't take the 3 minutes.
Okay, short and sweet. Well, there you go. All right, well, that takes us to the end of the 7 prepared questions that people have submitted. We've got some questions that we're going to ask you specific to you as well. And you're going to have 3 minutes for each of these questions. They're not as in-depth as the others. So the first question is an obvious one. I think people would want to know, and that is, this is your first term on council. What have you learned from your first term on council?
Patience. I've learned that it's hurry up and wait. You know, like I said before, I'm a doer. I don't like to just talk about stuff. I like to go out and do it. So having a great idea and then having it stopped because of some upper government rules is really hard to deal with. But if it's something that we want and need, it's worth waiting for and fighting for. So that's the big thing, is patience. I've learned to work as a team, which sometimes I get very enthusiastic about something that some of the other colleagues may not think is as important. So I've learned to sort of step back and go, okay, they don't think that's as important as I do, and that's okay. And so you take a good hard look at yourself and what you think and how you think.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? It's been 3 years. I'm sure it's gone by in a hurry. But
it was a huge learning curve, and you never know how much you don't know until you're forced into this, and you go, oh my gosh. So, and all of us were new, so we all sort of flapped around in the dark going, what do we do, what do we do, why are we doing this? But it's been a really good experience, and I've learned a lot. And I hope I can learn more.
Great. Second question is a little bit more specific, and that is, what would you point to as your biggest accomplishment in this past term on council, and what would you say was your greatest disappointment? So biggest accomplishment and greatest disappointment.
Well, it's only been 3 years, and I haven't gotten to do too much. Everything's in the works. My greatest accomplishment, I think, would be the Walk Around the World, because it's up and running and it's in its 2nd year. We've got 10% of the community involved in that, which is quite a lot. Mm-hmm. I work with really great people who I've learned a lot from. Being the Northern Health Liaison has been something that I found that I really, really enjoy, and I just want to learn more and get involved in more stuff. So I think that's the best thing. And it's a long process too, because this is a 5-year program, so I get to do that for 5 years. The biggest disappointment, that I haven't been able to complete the community use agreement. That's been really a hard road. When you're dealing with just more than one thing, when you're dealing with other factions, it's really hard. So that would be the greatest. I still want to get it done. I've broken it down now. Instead of just trying to get the whole thing done, I've sort of said, okay, well, let's get the first part done, which is the use agreement between the school and the village, and then there's the agreement between the village and the school district. So I'll do one thing first, and then I'll attack the other thing. It's hard when you've tried to get something done and you can't get it accomplished.
Right.
It's frustrating.
Well, 3 years seems like it's going to be a long time, but it goes quickly.
It really does go by fast. And that first, I would say about 1.5 years, was such a big learning curve. Because you have to remember, we're not only just doing our council job, we also, all of us had jobs as well. And I have a small business. So that's, you got to really be able to time management there, and it's hard.
Right.
Right.
Okay, well, the last question for you is going to be, it's going to be a thinker.
Oh no, that's not my best thing.
All right, well, we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
And the question is, so you've long been involved in community groups. You've been involved in a number of them, you still are. In your introduction, you stated that there's much to do, and I'm a doer. Valemount obviously has a lot of dedicated doers in various organizations.
Quite a lot.
Yes, for sure. Which unfortunately, though, sometimes duplicates activities and sometimes has people working at cross purposes because of communication and other things from one another. If you're reelected to council, do you have any ideas on how you could bring the energy and ideas of Valemount's nonprofit organizations together to act as a more effective and cohesive unit?
You're good.
Told you it was a thinker.
I know, but I told you if I had all the answers, I'd be emperor. I think one of the basic things is for all of us to be excited about everything that's going on in Valemount. If I'm excited about the Crafters Guild and I can get you excited about the Crafters Guild, then that's more people that we've got excited about X. I think that we need to make things simpler. Things don't have to be rocket science. We need to get back to basics. It's like, you know, having a nice looking yard and clean streets and stuff. We've got tons of people who volunteer and have volunteered for years and years. We've got tons of organizations that are all really great and all worthy, but sometimes we do end up tripping over each other. Yeah. So we just need to take a step back and look at each individual society and group and see what they're doing and why, and appreciate that they're there. I mean, there's a lot of things that are running in town that I don't attend, but I still appreciate them. So I think just taking a step back and looking and thanking everybody for doing all of the little things that we all do, because together that makes us a lot stronger. I mean, can you imagine if we didn't have a marina and we didn't have VCTV, if we didn't have the Knickerknickers, if we didn't have the Lions Club? I mean, then we would be dead in the water without those groups. And they're all run by volunteers. Those are the things that really keep us floating.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you very much for those. And now's the time where we're going to give you up to 3 minutes to make your closing statement. And you can look right into this camera here and start that whenever you like.
Okay, well, my closing statement is very short. So we have 1,000 people living in this community. We have, if we include the surrounding areas of the valley and McBride as well, that's about 3,000 people. So how much knowledge is that we have at our disposal for the betterment of our communities? We all need to work together to move Valemount forward. 5 people sitting in that council room cannot do it alone, and so together we need to do great things.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much. Now, before we go, I'm going to give people some information on the voting, just to make sure that they understand where the voting's happening and times, etc. So just give me a moment to do that. So voting day is, of course, Saturday, November the 15th. The location will be the Valemount Community Hall, as it always is, 101 Gore Street, right across the street from us. Voting times will be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. There will be advance voting, and that has been scheduled for Wednesday, November the 5th. Again, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the Village of Valemount Council Chambers. This year, for the first time, we're going to be using something new. We're going to be using electronic voting machines. Now, I know that people are a little bit nervous about that, a little bit scared of the new technology, so I have some information here from the voting officials that I'd like to pass along to you. Electronic voting machines are accurate, simple to use, and can provide final election results within minutes after the close of voting. So if you have a close vote, that's a great thing. You go to the voting booth, as you always do, and you make your choices. They'll have a special pen there that you can use, and then you follow your instructions on the ballot like you always have. And once you're done, you take your ballot and you feed it directly into the electronic voting machine, so there's no stuffing into a cardboard box like you used to do. You feed it right into the machine yourself, and the machine will tell you if the ballot is accepted. If there are questions with your ballot, the machine will notify you and give you the option of submitting the spoiled ballot. If you've chosen to deliberately spoil your ballot, that's your right, or undervoting on it, that's your right as well, or correcting it. So you have the options there. The only option the machine will not allow you to do is to overvote, and that's to fill in too many candidate options. There will be a machine attendant at the polling station to assist you if you have a problem, so they're not just going to throw you into the fray and hope that you do your best. They're going to be there to answer any questions and help you if you need help. Apparently, it's far simpler to use the voting machines than it is to use a bank ATM. So if you used a banking machine before, you should have no problem with this. The machine's going to be on display at the All Candidates Forum, which is going to be October the 30th at 7 p.m. at the Valemount Secondary School. And they'll be there to answer any questions you might have, to show you a demonstration of how it works, to basically just get you comfortable with the technology. So that's great. So that's all we have for now. Thank you very much, Hollie. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for doing this, Gord. It's great.
And best of luck with the campaign. And,
thank you.
Have fun for the last couple of weeks as we go through here.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks very much.